Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, I will show you 6 different things that you might be missing in Databricks. If you are recently introduced to Databricks, and this might feel like, okay, this is obvious kind of things. If you have used it, that's really good. If not, then also maybe it will help you to do things better, and it might help increase your productivity. Let's go step by step. There are just 6 things that I will be explaining in this video. One thing to notice here is that Databricks has implemented so many new features in the last year, which I think they haven't introduced in like last 5 years ahead of that. There are many power-packed features, but I think these features will help you in the day-to-day work that you have been doing. First one, if I go to the workspace, I have created one sample notebook. Let me go inside it. The first thing is there is a new thing called skip magic command. For example, I will give you an example to explain this. Let's say that I'm running this cell here. It's there, random number picker. And now I'm reading something from this database. Let's say I'm reading trips inside New York City, and it is the Spark, PySpark SQL Connect data frame. And when I'm doing some kind of exploration, maybe I want to use some functionality which is not in the Spark data frame. Maybe I will be running this df to pandas. And well, you might give different variable name, but this is the common practice, just giving df, right? Now what happens here? I converted that to Python, and now I can run just a simple example df.describe, which shows us the really good way how we can run this. Now I want to run this partition cell. I have mentioned that this is a data frame for distributed processing, not available in pandas. What happens if I run this? If I run this, it will throw me some error, meaning you need to now what you need to do. You need to now go up and then uncomment these things which you did for the pandas, and again run the cell above and so on. Just imagine that, let's say you do these experiments and you have this scheduling job which runs every day whenever you want to run it, and then what happens is it will not work. Of course, you will be doing some additional things, or if you are just testing also, you might be running all the cells, right? There is a new thing that is being introduced which I like. Before, what we used to do, I used to go here, and instead of two pandas, I need to either delete this or convert this to markdown so that it is not being used in the variables. But now there is a new thing that we can do. That is, I can just go on the top here, right? And I can just write here skip. When you write the skip, still that is the Python shell. But now it says here that is skipped. When you run this the next time, let's say that I want to run all this, there will not be any issue because there is this thing that is running here with the Spark, PySpark SQL Connect. It goes down, it skips this part, it still shows the describe, it does not affect because that's still df. And now we have this partition working. With just this skip magic command, I think it helps a lot. The next one, as you can see here, let's say that I want to run something side by side here, another file just to test. Let me make this page a little bit bigger so you see the whole picture. Now the thing here is there is one functionality that your admin needs to be enabling you if you are using this paid version of Databricks. But in this free edition, you can either go into the settings and do things, but here there is this tabs and on, right? It is already on here. If this was off, you don't see here, but this needs to be on. When you do that on, you see that there is this plus icon appearing here. If you do this plus icon, you can now have a new query. For example, now you can see here is one running the Python notebook. Here is the another one which is connected to this SQL. And one thing, even what you can do is you can even drag this side by side like this. Now you can see here I have this Python one, here I have the SQL. I have actually created a whole video about this. Let me show you my free edition series. This video is part of this series. You can just go here and see that I have said here multi-tab edit functionality also mentioned there. If you want to know in depth, you can go, but it's self-explanatory here. I can just cancel this now. The third functionality I want to mention is, okay, this is the Python shell. And what we do to write the markdown is maybe I will go up here with the text, that is the markdown, and I will just use these markdown headings, and I will say okay, random num picker, something like this, right? What you can do instead of that, for each cell you can see this is this 2, there is number, there is 3 number, and so on, right? You can already just click here, and now you can provide the title for that particular cell one. In the free edition there is not this Databricks assistant appearing here. Now you can just write here random number picker. Now of course this is the title of that particular cell only. In the paid version there will be this assistant appearing here. Just to show you, I have another notebook here which is not part of the Databricks free edition. I will refresh the page. You can see on the top it is not showing the Databricks free edition. Now if I just go here on the title, if I click here, you can see there is this title appearing here. This is helpful for day-to-day activities. I'm just showing you the example here with 2-3 lines of code, but you might be writing tons of code there. It's quite difficult to write the title. Just go here. Although this is not available in this data free edition, you can take the help of Databricks assistant to write the title. You can go here and write the title, and with this I think you don't even need this, because this is just sample experiment notebook. Now I know that this is related to the random number picker, the odd functionality. Now there is another way how you can take help of Databricks assistant. If I just go to this catalog, I will go to these samples, and inside this I have this New York City. I need to go inside the table. Now if I go here, I can do all sorts of things, permissions, everything. But the thing that I want to show you here is the sample data. When I click the sample data, you can see the Databricks assistant kicks in and it takes the context of your table schema. And now, of course, we need to select the cluster. I will select the cluster. Once the cluster is there, we are powering the compute. Although this is running here, you can see the suggested questions based on that particular table. You can just click one of these or type whatever you want to find from here. There is the sample data being shown. Before there used to be just the sample data, and now it's all here. But you can just say maybe you want to know the average fare per trip. If you just click this, you can see this is running, and it is also explaining all sorts of things. There is SQL command that is being created. You can run the query. You can open this in the editor. You can give thumbs up, thumbs down. If you want to run this, you can run from here instead of going into the editor. So this is a good way to check the data that you have, so you don't need to be switching into the SQL editor and so on. I hope this is helpful for you. The next one I want to show you now is the AI functions. If you just search in the internet for Databricks AI functions, it will take you to how you can apply the AI functions, apply AI on data using Databricks AI functions. There are different functions, and this is in the public preview. You can see there is this AI analyze sentiment, classify, extract, and there is the similarity, parse document, AI summarize, and all sorts of things, right? I have created already a video, 2 videos actually related to this. You can take help from there also. Here I have this AI functions here. I'm explaining what that is all. And there is also this structured, extracting structured data with the PDFs using AI. Take help of these already available AI functions when you are working in Databricks. It will help you do things faster, efficiently, and increase productivity. Now, one last thing I want to mention is about this multi-Git functionality. I have already mentioned that also in one of the video here, and this multi-Git. You can just go here and read more about this. But the thing is, we have faced a lot of challenge before. I will give you an example. We have projects in GitHub also. We had the projects in GitLab also. But now we want to clone the repositories from both of those platforms into Databricks, right? That was not possible. We need to spend some time to do it locally and then implement those things. But now that is not the case. If you go to the settings, there is this linked accounts. You go here, and now you can see here is this Git integration. This is already being linked for me with this GitHub here. But let's say that you have another projects in Bitbucket or another one in GitLab or something like this. Now It's really easy to do. Just go here, add Git credentials, then choose the Git provider. You can see there are many Git providers. There is Azure DevOps, Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, AWS Code Commit, and all different things. You can go here, provide the personal access tokens, or link this Git account once you are done. And if you start writing the code, it will automatically know which repository it is coming from. You can just use all the normal Git commands to do all sorts of Git stuffs. That is all the main things that I want to cover in this video. If you have already used this, really good. If you haven't, then this seems to be quite a small update from Databricks side. But in my opinion, if you are using a lot of time, or if you're spending a lot of time in Databricks and want to do things smartly, these are the things which might help you do things faster. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.